Floods are common in the northeast. Every year, the Brahmaputra and Barak river systems get flooded at the time of the monsoons. But the northeast, as a region, because of its location and unique physical features, bears the brunt of floods.
See, the northeastern region of India has got some environmental uniqueness, and also it is lying on the foothill of the Himalayas. It is also part of the eastern Himalayas, and also it has a very high sensitivity in terms of earthquakes. Its geology is very fragile. It has got unique biotic resources. Also, its human resources is also very diverse. So, given all this, it is a very unique region, and its hazard potential is also very high. It is a multi-hazard area, not only floods, but it is also affected by severe landslides, cyclones. This is many times all these hazards, several of these hazards take place at the same time.
Monsoon is coming from the Bay of Bengal and entering the northeast through Serapunji, Masinram side, and it is in 3 sites. We see that it is having the mountain change. So whatever water-laden air mass is coming, so it is trapped in the in this Brahmaputra valley as well as in the Barak valley, and we see large amount of rainfall, especially in the Brahmaputra valley.
The intensity of the events and the frequency of the occurrence of the events and the susceptibility of the region to these natural disasters are very high. It is considered, especially the lower part of the Assam Valley and a few other valleys in the northeast. So they are taken to be as one of the most hazard-prone regions of India. Assam has about 3.5 million hectares of water area, which are constantly being threatened annually by floods. So similarly, in respect of earthquakes, also we are being affected by floods, earthquakes of very large magnitude. Some of which have not seen the entire country. Actually, we have seen in the last 100 or 200 years.
High intensity rainfall and short duration high intensity rainfall, and mainly in the foothills, and that causes floods in the downstream, because Brahmaputra river, especially in the Brahmaputra valley, Brahmaputra river is not capable of taking that all discharge immediately. It takes some time. This is actually what we call is the cloud burst. All of a sudden, this entire water mass is being released, and we see the heavy discharge is coming up. And what I see that kind of situation is not infrequent in the northeast. Of course, what we see that no much study. In fact, no study has been carried out so far for the clouds burst mechanism in the northeast.
In a river system that's prone to flooding, is it wise to build too many interventions like dams, bridges, barrages, channelization, encroachment? When the river volumes increase, so does its speed and destructive capabilities.
As of now, we are not interfering much with the Brahmaputra and the Barak Valley system. Only few hydropower projects we are having, and of course now I think that we are expecting more intervention in the system, especially in the Brahmaputra Valley, where Arunachal is going to play a dominant role for hydropower projects. Numerous projects are coming up, and perhaps that may intervene the system, and how the system will respond, that depends upon how we design these different river valley projects. And we see in Barak Valley no much of that kind of projects coming up. Tipaimukh project perhaps will come up in near future, and then we may see some intervention. And so far other things are concerned, like we have some bridge constructions. Then we see like Bogaville bridge over Brahmaputra. Then they may intervene in the system, but to understand it fully, it will take some time. How actually these developmental activities are affecting the river system. But so far, this major role is played by going to be played by the hydropower projects.
If we speak of Northeast as a whole, I think there is considerable intervention if we consider the recent developments in terms of high intervention being proposed in the Arunachal part of the Himalayas. So otherwise, taking the Brahmaputra and the Barak basin, the lower part, I think the interventions are mostly in terms of flood control, embankment, dikes, and things like that, which are in fact which are not offering the type of respite that the people need in terms of mitigating the these hazards. But we are worried about the large intervention being proposed in the Indian part of the Arunachal Himalayas, as well as beyond the borders in China. And we are in a downstream of these areas. So interstate and international implications are very high and lying on the southern part of us.
But with such heavy rains and hilly terrain, the region is prone to landslides. Displacement is common. When floods are common, flood management should have been mastered. One wonders whether there are lessons the Northeast can teach the rest of the country in terms of flood management.
I think flood has been mismanaged, if it is not managed at all here. So I think there is hardly any lessons, except to say that it is a misfortune that a big river with so much of potential, all these potential have been wasted, and the river is blamed for its only annual floods. So I think in that aspect, I think our only example that we set before the country has been the traditional life which people have been adopting to this very hazard-prone area, which was ecologically very desirable, eco-friendly lifestyle they had. Our communities, especially our various ethnic communities who live by the river for ages, they have their lifestyle tuned to the floods, tuned to the vagaries of weather, and how they have adapted their agricultural system, how they have adapted their lifestyle is something that the rest of India should like. We are trying to imitate that one, but we had that, and we are going to lose them.
Whatever management practice we are doing, their response are not good. And we are having something like for diversion of the river from to reduce bank erosion. We use for diversification of the river course. We use the spar, and then to not to go for this overtopping of the banks, we use embankments. And ultimately, what we see, these embankments are bringing the river bed level much above the general ground level. And now once this bridge, what we see, the river water is entering the ground, and water is not possible. It's not possible for that to come back to the river again. So long time, there is water stagnation in those village areas as well as in the town area. We see that thing. And another aspect, what I see, that we have road networks, national highways, and also what we see this time in Goalpara, what is happening. I think railway line has a major role in this flood effect, because large number of actually pools or culverts should be given to the the railway lines and the roads, so that the upstream whatever water is coming, that should be allowed to go through freely to the Brahmaputra. But it is restricted because there is no culvert or pools in those in most of the areas.
But the situation is only going to get worse looking ahead. Climate change, high threats of rain, the water flow patterns of the future are likely to increase in intensity and scale.
The climate change, which is already in here, and we are in the midst of it. See, I think globally it has been recognized. Then among the very sensitive areas where the brunt of the climate change impact will be there, Northeast will be one. Because in the Northeast, what we have large groups of communities whose lifestyle is tuned, whose lifestyle is dependent on natural resources, mainly forest, mainly agriculture, water resources. So, given all that, wherever livelihood is related to the natural resource-based activities, I think they will be treated to it. And moreover, people who are living in the hilly areas, people live in the hill slopes, and people who are in the areas which are dominated by monsoons, which again is a system that are now said to be constantly under change now. So, with this changing pattern of monsoons, their onset and their departure time, their length of the seasons, their wet and dry conditions, all an extremity of the main weather events, all these will definitely change in the going to come, and indications are already in. The type of or the frequency of events that have been occurring in the last few decades has indicated that climate change impacts are already showing up in the Northeast, and we have to be careful, and the measures for mitigating this is to be taken in a war footing.
How that climate change will affect this rainfall and also this discharge of the river system, it is again it's to be seen very closely. Otherwise, we see that simply if we talk about climate change, then there will be the heavy rain. Then we see this or sudden rain, that kind of thing. If we just want to correlate, I think it will not be that much proper, and still we are not understanding fully this the river systems of Barak and Brahmaputra. Lot of works need to be carried out, and then only we can say something about the future.
With such excesses of water, could out-of-the-box thinking, like pumping water and building a pipe system that transports water out of the area, be feasible? What about massive projects like interlinking of rivers? To what extent would that reduce the hazard of floods?
To be very frank, this type of a proposition is quite untenable in the context of our rivers, in the context of the Northeast. There's such a dynamic and fragile region with a very large rivers having highly variable flow conditions and carrying very high amount of sediment yield, which are one of the highest in the world, the type of sediment, the amount of sediment they carry. Given this scenario, I think to accept these rivers as something like pipes through which water will be taken to some other regions, I think that is highly unacceptable to us at this moment of time. Even in case of small streams, actually, this has not been tried as a test anywhere. I think that has to be tested, if at all, in a similar conditions in a smaller stream somewhere, but not here. Within the watershed, yes, some amount of diversion could be possible somewhere in certain cases, but the experience all over the country or rest of the world also, that is not good. Rivers are natural entities. They are not pipes, drains actually through into over. So these natural entities having life forms in it and having so much of direct link with the society, this cannot be treated as something very artificial.
Actually, if the Brahmaputra river system is a very huge river system. Discharge is very large. So I don't know how whether there will be capability of having passing through some pipes or that kind of thing, the pumping it out, and then where to pump out, where will pump it out, because one major issue is that when we are having flood, that time Bihar, West Bengal, they are also having flood. Means there also we get the surplus water. Then ours is also surplus water. Then where we will put it? We cannot put it over their surplus water. So this is a kind of situation we have to think about. Then another one is what we talk about is river linking. Now river linking, how it will be executed. So that is also, if we are going to do it, how it will be executed, that is another very important aspect. Even for the dams also same thing. Now because dams and river linking ultimately will be coming together. Then if we see about the Brahmaputra, from diversion of Brahmaputra water to somewhere other parts of India, then where we will tap it? If we tap it near say Dhuburi, then the level, mean sea level of that area is very low as compared to through which it will be is taken out. Like Kuch Bihar and that side, it will be something around 150 meter or so, and here it will be something around 28 meter to 30 meter in Dhuburi. So water should be lifted out, otherwise we have to make some barrage, then that will fill up the land. And ultimately we may see that you see for Gauhati, this mean sea level is about 52 meter. If we see Brahmaputra, it will be less than 50 meter. Then if we make a barrage over there to make something around say 10-12 meter high water level, then also many parts of the lower Assam will be submerged. So the possibility is there that if we can take the major rivers like Mana, Sunkos, those rivers along the foothills, and then we join it somewhere with the Ganga or in some rivers, and then that water can be tapped to other parts. So because there is wastage of water, and that can be used, it's good for us. But at the same time, we have to keep it in mind that this thing can be done only in case of the surplus water in the flood season, and that time that whatever water they are going to that will be diverted through river linking. That time there also it is having this all saturation, the surplus water. So our water is not a requirement at that time.
Given these concerns and the fact that the Northeast is a highly hazard-prone area, one wonders whether it's possible to build infrastructure without causing environmental hazards.
It is an acceptable paradigm today to have development along with environmental preservation, which we call as a sustainable development. No other development is acceptable today except sustainable development. So, given this condition, I think we have to accept that the development that we are going to have, and we should have development, because given the type of wants that we have today, to mitigate to meet those wants, we have to go for development. But at the time of development, we have to see that the environmental integrity is preserved, environmental safety is preserved. And how do we do that? We have to do it right at the planning stage, not to wait until the projects are ready, as we might have been doing in case of some Himalayan big projects. We should not do that, and this will be something unwise, because there is a lot of uncertainties involved there in these regions. And unless we are careful from the day one, from the date of planning, we will not be able to do justice to the social needs, to the environmental needs, and to the interest of the people and the country.
So when you go for a kind of development, always there is some sort of damage to the environment. We must compromise somewhere. Now, to what extent we will compromise? So, it needs actually the acceptability of the people living in the region. First, the people should know what kind of actually project we are going to do, then how they will get the benefit of it, and also they should be we should let them know that how what kind of damages they are going to face, and then a budget of profit and loss should be carried out, and on that basis, if it is seen more profitable for us and say in the future generation, those should be actually adopted. And I think if we go that way, then we can take up some projects. Otherwise, because it is imposed from somewhere, not doing much of the detailed works, then there may be some kind of shortcomings remains in the projects, and that may be in near future that may be a problem for the region.
If our interventions are of moderate nature and which will not affect the society or will not affect ecology to a great extent, major probably interventions of major effect may be there which can be taken care of, but not something which cannot be undone, which cannot be got rid of. So that type of intervention of a larger nature should be avoided, so that we have no point to return.
This year, the floods in Assam, Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh killed 179 people, 68 in Assam, 56 in Arunachal Pradesh and 55 in Meghalaya. Infrastructure and crop damage is estimated at over 4,000 crore rupees. While floods are common in the northeast, not enough is being done to study the consequences of changing rain patterns, more frequent cyclones and cloudbursts, and their effect on the river systems. People encroaching on the river banks is an intervention that can be avoided, especially since intensity of floods is only likely to increase in future. One of the other features of the northeast is that it is geographically a highly hazard-prone area.